Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports, where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Grant. Got off a pretty good New York trip, and Nick's first game is tomorrow, so of the ECCF. So I'm excited.
Yeah, looking forward to get into the Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference Finals. We're going to do that this episode, but we're going to start with our hot takes of the week. So I'll let you go ahead and begin with that.
Yeah, so mine is that the Boston Celtics will look like a pretty different team next season. They're around $227 million over the cap and around $500 million total. And I think some big moves will be coming this season, whether they get rid of Kristaps or something happens with Derek White or just somebody that's big on the depth. I'm not too sure what all the contracts look like for each of their players, but I do think that some big changes will happen, and they'll look like a completely different team next year.
Yeah, I think it's definitely safe to say that Kristaps and Drew Holiday are both gone. I don't think that they'll be
Yeah.
back next season. I think they'll keep Derek White because I believe he's on a more team-friendly deal. But Drew Holiday's contract, he's still got 3 years on it. He's making $30 million each year on that, and he's just not producing
Mm,
at that level. And Kristaps, we
no.
know with the health and everything, you just never
Yep.
really know what you're going to get. So they're not going to take that risk when they're not really going to be a competitive team. I think guys like Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard might be in trade conversations. But yeah, I
Yep.
agree. They're going to look a lot different. I'm even seeing some people on the other end of the spectrum going crazy saying Jaylen Brown might end up getting traded. So
I
it's going to
saw
be
that
interesting
too.
to
Yeah.
see how much they do this offseason because without Tatum this fall, upcoming season, there's going to be a lot of changes, I believe. So that's a good hot take.
Hmm.
My hot take, I kind of gathered this because you like you were saying, you and Matt went to the Subway Series, and I tuned in for a little bit of it. I was watching some of it, some of the games, and something that just kind of stuck out with me, helped me form this hot take, and that hot take is the Mets will regret the Juan Soto contract no more than 3 seasons into it. I'm watching Juan Soto right now, and he just doesn't look like he's having fun playing for the Mets right now. The effort's not there. He's not hustling. Um, the first game, there was a play, there was a shallow fly ball hit the right field, and he 3-hopped it all the way to home. Like that's just
Yeah.
like not even trying, in my opinion. And then obviously we saw in the last game of the series the ground ball that he didn't run out. Last night, I don't know if you saw, they were playing the Red Sox. He hit a ball off the monster, and he only got a single out of it because he was just watching it because he
Oh
thought he hit a
my
home run.
gosh.
Um, so yeah, he's just not hustling. And I actually saw a report of someone saying that the Mets hierarchy is already worried about Juan Soto's I guess passion for playing for the Mets right now.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I don't know. This contract looks like it's not off to the best start, and they still got a lot of years left on this thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds.
Yeah. I mean, we are kind of talking about last night, but I didn't want to really bring this up just because I'm a Yankees fan, and I saw someone say that the happiest he looked all season was when he came back to the Bronx and was doing the Subway Series and hanging out with everyone before the game and stuff and saying hi to everyone. But yeah, I'm just very interested to see how it unfolds. 15 years is a long time, um,
Yeah.
and it's not like his fielding has been amazing either. And if his bat, the only thing that really has gotten him that contract, isn't where it's supposed to be, then I don't know how much longer it's gonna, they're gonna put up with this.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, but it's just hard to not notice how unenthused he looks to be out there for the
Yeah,
Mets.
yeah.
I mean, I remember when the Cubs played him a couple series ago, he like did not do anything against us. I was like more worried about obviously Lindor and Pete Alonso and even Brett Beatty that series because he killed us. But yeah, I mean, we'll
Hmm.
see what happens. But so far, I wouldn't say it's been a great success. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go into our underdogs of the week. So I'll let you go ahead and pick your underdog.
Yeah, my underdog, despite them losing the semifinals in the Western Conference. I'm gonna go with Aaron Gordon. You know, playing on a grade 2 hamstring, something that Curry was out pretty much the whole series for, is just insane. If that doesn't show how your character is, then I don't know what else does. Because obviously it's an elimination game, the most important game of the season, and for you to come out and know everyone to know how important that injury really is. I was seeing reports saying that Aaron Gordon would take up to 2 months just to recover, like just to start recovery for this injury. And you know, no less than 2-3 days later, he's over here playing in the most important game of the season. So I really give credit Aaron Gordon. I wish that they were able to put up a little bit more of a fight, but yeah, Thunder is just. We'll get into it a little later. Thunder is just an amazing team.
Yeah, I like that shout out because I think the Nuggets as a team went out, they gave it their all in that series. Although the score didn't look good in that game 7, they had a lot of beat up guys. I mean, like you said, Aaron
Yeah.
Gordon, then Michael Porter's been injured the whole playoffs. He
Hmm.
can't even lift his arm above his like head, apparently, is what they're saying. And they were saying that he should also be out for 5 to 6 weeks if he wasn't, playing on it. So
Yeah.
I think they just got banged up. Jokic obviously looked fatigued towards the end there. So I think they gave it a good run and a good effort against a very talented Thunder team, but ultimately they were banged up. They fell short. But yeah, shout out to those guys because they at least didn't sit out a game, like some other
Right.
people that do in the playoffs. All right. My underdog, I'm going with the San Francisco Giants player, Wilmer Flores. He's off to a pretty good start this season. And the other night against the Oakland A's, oh, sorry, not Oakland anymore, just the A's now.
Sacramento.
Against them, he had a 3 home run game and 8 RBIs, and he almost hit for the home run cycle, which is a solo home run, 2-run home run, and obviously a grand slam and a 3-run home run. So he almost hit for the home run cycle, which is kind of crazy.
Mm.
And yeah, I just wanted to shout him out because I thought that was a pretty cool performance.
Yeah, that's
Not too
crazy.
often you get to see 3 home runs in one game, right, Mason?
Nope.
Yep. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and slide over to the NBA because the Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference Finals have been decided. We're gonna start out with an Eastern Conference Finals discussion, and that is obviously the New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks have not been in the Eastern Conference Finals since the year 2000. And Mason, did you know who they went up against in 2000?
Yes, I do.
And who was
It
that?
was the Pacers. It was the
It was none
Pacers.
other than the Indiana Pacers. So a little bit of a rematch. Well, hopefully history doesn't repeat itself because the Pacers did win that. So, well, hopefully not for your sake. I hope the Pacers win, but we'll get into this discussion. What are your expectations going into this series?
Yeah, so my biggest, I guess, concern for this series is defense inside the paint, and I think health, because obviously everyone knows from last year we had a lot of injuries in that semifinals against the Pacers, and we took them to 7 games. We didn't have Brunson. We didn't have, or Brunson broke his hand from being out before, and then OG Anunoby had a bad hamstring injury. Josh Hart was dealing with some rib stuff. So yeah, and I just hope Cat can really get big defensively. Mitchell Robinson has been amazing in these past few games. I hope he can really stay the aggressor inside, and I also hope that we can kind of protect the three, because this is probably one of the most fast-paced offenses that in the league. I think noticing that last year, it really kind of kept me on my toes as a watcher or as a fan. So I just hope we can really just stay healthy and kind of game plan for what we saw last year and take account for what's going on this year, because Halliburton's been one of the most clutch players in the postseason. So I just hope it doesn't get down to those final 2 minutes, where Brunson and Halliburton seem to have their capes on. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it turns out different this year.
Yeah, this series is going to be interesting. Obviously, like you were saying, the Pacers play a very fast pace, no pun intended. They've looked very good. This is back-to-back years of them making the Eastern Conference Finals. And it's not being talked about at all by national media, but that's like a very impressive feat, especially this season when you're going to get up against like some juggernauts of teams. Beating the Cleveland Cavaliers, which no one expected them to knock out, and going against the Bucks, which yes, Dame was obviously hurt during that series, but that's back-to-back seasons of them beating the Bucks as well. They're up to a very impressive start, and they're very hot right now. But I think the Knicks are the hotter team. They're coming off a crazy series against the Boston Celtics, a series where no one really had the Knicks winning that series. Obviously, we know the notorious line of that the Knicks had a better chance of getting swept than winning the series. And they persevered. They got a big 2-0 lead and didn't look back after that. So it's going to be a good series of two teams that have all the momentum in the world right now. I just think it's going to come down to the star power, and I just think Jalen Brunson is more of a star than Tyrese Halliburton is. I think Tyrese Halliburton is a great young player, and one day he might be on that level, but he's just not there yet. And
Mhm.
Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year. I know Tyrese Halliburton's had his very clutch moments. I think I saw something crazy shooting over 90% with like game tying
Yeah,
shots and game winners on the line. But I think Jalen Brunson's just going to get it done. I think that team's going to get it done. They're more deep than the Pacers, at least in the starting lineup. I know the bench unit isn't, but um,
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting series. I know the Pacers are going to scrap and fight, so I don't think it's going to be like a sweep or anything like that. But I do ultimately see the Knicks winning this series, probably in 6 or 7. I want to get your official prediction of what you think this series is going to end up.
Oh no, I don't want a prediction. Um, I'll just go Knicks in 7. I don't
Okay.
like putting it on the record for my own teams just because I'm very superstitious when it comes to that. Like, you want to hear how superstitious I've been this
Yeah,
whole
go ahead
entire
and tell
playoffs?
them.
I've been wearing. Obviously, I've been washing the shirt, but I've been wearing something Yankees every single time the Knicks play, and every time they win, I noticed that it started in the first round. It was like 3 games I wore this like something Yankees, and I was like, okay, we're winning. And then whenever I wasn't able to wear something Yankees, we ended up losing. So best believe I will be wearing something Yankees tomorrow. But it's unfortunate because we're actually going to a game tomorrow, Cubs versus Marlins, and I don't want to be that guy to wear something like that. But listen, it's
It's
playoffs.
okay.
Got to do what I got to do.
I'm sure all 50 Marlins fans that will be in attendance tomorrow won't mind. It'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, now another thing I want to talk about for the Eastern Conference. What is like who to you for each team is the most important player for this series? Not necessarily like the one that needs to be the best, but just someone that you think is like kind of like the hidden gem, so to speak. Like they need them to succeed.
All right. So for the Knicks, I think I'll go with Deuce McBride. Those minutes that he's in and Jalen Brunson is not on the floor, and we're gonna have our bench guys in. He needs to make those open shots. He's had them all series against the Boston Celtics. 1 or 2 games he was really on fire, but when he's not making them, you can really tell. But it's you can feel it either way. If he's on, you can feel it, and if he's not, it's like, man, what the heck? I need one of them to drop. And Campaign is good off the bench, but I don't think he's as high of a level as Deuce, in my opinion. Deuce is a much better defender, and I think he can really run the offense better than Campaign. Um, so I think off the Knicks side, it'll be uh, Deuce McBride, and kind of similar to the other side, um, T.J. McConnell for the
Hmm.
Pacers last year. He was absolutely phenomenal for them, and I remember every game watching them in those semifinals. It was like, man, this guy just won't like stop. He's fast paced. He fits the offense perfectly. He's able to get shots in when you need him, and he's really a hidden leader for that team. Everyone looks at Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, Siakam, everyone like that, but T.J. McConnell is really, I think, the underdog voice for that Pacers team.
Yeah, I've watched TJ McConnell tear apart my team so many times. I mean, all the Heat
Mhm.
fans know that he's a Heat killer. Just one of those guys, very scrappy on defense, and he is what that offense runs. He gets out on the floor and he runs.
Yep.
They run a very
Yep.
fast pace with him out there. He sets his guys up. He'll get to that mid range jump shot, which I swear he shoots 100% on. Every time he shoots a mid range jumper, it goes in. I swear. But yeah, that's a good pick there, and I also like your Deuce McBride pick because those minutes that Jalen Brunson's off are going to be some of the most important minutes of the games. They can honestly
Mhm.
cost them the games if they don't go well. So I like that pick as well.
Yep.
Um, Obviously, I'm not going to go Brunson or Halliburton for
All
obvious
right.
reasons. I don't want to go with the obvious pick. I'm going to go with Mikal Bridges. He's had a great series
Yeah.
against Boston. And I can assume that that's who's going to be the primary defender on Halliburton. So he's going to have to slow Halliburton down, try to get stops on him, force some turnovers because this Pacers team will turn the ball over a lot. And that's something you can do to beat them pretty badly is forcing turnovers. And I think Mikal Bridges will should be able to do a really good job on that. So I think he's going to be a very important factor for this Knicks team. And for the Pacers, I'm going to actually go with Pascal Siakam, another player that's looked really good. And look, this outside of actually, no, I think he does have the most experience out of anyone on this team when it comes to playoff
Yeah.
basketball. He's had a lot of deep runs with the Toronto Raptors back in his day. So he's going to have to kind of be that guy. I know they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but kind of everyone knew they didn't have a
Yeah.
chance against Boston. So he's going to have to be that guy that kind of like strengthens them and holds them together. If things are falling apart, he's going to have to be the glue. If they need a timely basket, that should be the guy they're going to get the timely basket. And he's just got to play really solid basketball. And I think he will. I think he's a very talented player. And I'm not sure who they'll probably have OG guarding him, who's a very good defender.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to score against this Knicks team because they're going to be able to score right back. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But I think Mikal Bridges and Pascal Siakam are the two guys that I'm highlighting on players that can really make a difference for their teams in this series.
Mhm. Yeah. Another thing, quick too. OG and Siakam, I think, have the most experience on
Yeah,
either court. Either team. They've, well, as you mentioned, made deep runs with the Raptors. Actually, won it all. Um, they something I kind of like think about all the time is whenever we play the Pacers. I'm sure that these two guys know each other so well, so they're gonna be game planning against each other the whole time. Be like, these are his
yeah,
tendencies. This is what he likes to do. This is his favorite shot. So, um, that when you have something like that and you're able to kind of help your team against the other guy, I think it'll help out a lot. But it just really comes down to who's the better player and who can execute.
yeah. I 100% agree. It's going to be a very interesting series. I know a lot of people are already saying Knicks will sweep and stuff like that, but I think it's going to
Yeah.
be a very close series. I think the Pacers, they're just a team that fights hard, and when they get the home court, that fan base is just as good as the Knicks are. I know everyone talks about MSG and how live of a arena that
Yeah.
is, but that Pacers arena gets rocking come playoff time. So
Absolutely.
I expect them to thrive off of that. I think that it's going to be kind of like how that Cavs and Magic series was, where
Mhm.
from a year
Home
ago, where
crowd. Yeah.
whoever was at home in that game for the whole series. And I think that's ultimately how the Knicks will win because they have home court advantage, obviously. Um, if one of the teams can steal a win on the road, that's gonna be the series, in my opinion. That's how I see it going.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're excited to see how it goes. Game one of that's going to be on Wednesday night. And yeah, we're going to slide over to the Western Conference Finals because that game one is tonight. And that is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves, who also made it back-to-back seasons to the Western Conference Finals against the favorites, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this series?
I think this is really a David versus Goliath, in my opinion. I think
Mm,
everyone kind of counted the Timberwolves out ever since Cat got traded and Randall and DiVincenzo went over. But they started off pretty rough in the season, if I remember correctly, and then they kind of really just got it into gear. Everyone started flowing together, and luckily everyone was healthy enough to make it through the whole season. So I think if they can really get it going, they'll be like the Smash Mouth kind of guys against this, high evolved game OKC is playing. I definitely think this is the most advanced basketball I've seen in a while. Just the way that they're able to kind of get where they need to go, but still have those big bodies to get in shots and, you know, protect the rim when they need it. So I think it'll really be the tale of two stories when it comes to these two teams. And I think OKC will still win just because of the star power they have, but I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota really put up a big fight.
Yeah, I think what the Timberwolves have done in this playoff run has been very impressive. Anthony Edwards is a superstar. There's no denying
Yeah,
that. One of the best players in this league, definitely one of the faces of this league for the future moving forward. And what Julius Randle has been doing in this playoffs has been fantastic. He's honestly been one of the best players in the whole NBA during this playoff uh, run right now. He's been
crazy.
fantastic. Even Rudy Gobert, who's someone that gets critiqued a lot come playoff time, has been a lot better than he's been in previous seasons. So you got a guy like Jaden McDaniels and Dante DiVincenzo playing really good in their roles. So yeah, it's a really talented team, but the Oklahoma City Thunder
Yeah,
are just different in my eyes. And I get what the argument is here is that, oh, well, the Thunder had to go 7 games against the Nuggets. Well, look, the Nuggets are a very talented team that won the finals a couple seasons ago and have some of the most experience and, in my opinion, have the best player in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, on their team. So that was like a really good test for this Thunder team. And now I don't really see the Timberwolves putting up too much of a fight. I know that the Timberwolves have put together a really good playoff run, but I'm not buying it. I think the Thunder are significantly better. I think they match up significantly better. They just have so many counters to their guys. They're just so much deeper. They're healthy right now, so I'm gonna go with Thunder and probably 5. If I'm being completely honest, I know it's not what a lot of people are going for, but I don't see the Timberwolves doing well in this series. I think they've had a great run,
yeah.
but I just don't see it.
I think I'll go Thunder in 6. I'll give the Wolves a little bit more benefit of the doubt, just
Yeah,
to see if they can stay hot. I think they can go 6.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 6. There's just something telling me that Thunder's going to
Right.
handle their business pretty easily. I think that this last Nuggets series they had was like their real kind of test to like battle test them going to the finals. I think they're not going to look back now. That's how I see it.
Hmm.
All right, kind of like what we were talking about last series. Who's the guy on each team that you're looking out for that can make an impact?
Yeah, so for the Wolves, I think it'll be Nas Reed.
Mm,
I think when him coming off the bench, if he can get those shots that he's known for and really kind of move the ball around, because he's kind of like a fun big to watch. Like he's really able to kind of do it all, and yeah, I think he can really match up well against that OKC defense and just kind of fit to where he needs to be because he kind of has all the tools, like a 5 tool player on that Wolves team. So if he can come in, maybe do like a double kind of big if it comes to it with Rudy and Nas, um, I think that can really help them out a lot. And for the OKC Thunder, I think Alex Caruso in defense. Oh, hold on. I think Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, those two
mm.
guys, I think are really what kind of put them over top of the Nuggets, if I'm being completely honest, because Hartenstein, he's been just amazing this season. Alex Caruso has as well, and pretty much everyone on that OKC team. But Hartenstein, he's just got a chip on his shoulder, man. Whenever that ball gets in the paint, he's like a Hall of Fame rim protector, man. It's it's insane. So I wish the Knicks still had him, but I think he is going to be, um, a big role on that defense whenever he comes in. So yeah.
Yeah, I like those picks a lot. I was actually going to pick Nas Reed, but I'll pick someone different just so we both have
Okay.
different picks for this. Timberwolves, I'm gonna go with Julius Randle because he, like I said,
Yeah.
he's had such a great playoff run, but we know what his track record is in the playoffs usually. He's usually not the best
Mhm.
playoff performer. I know that this playoff run looks a lot different, but it's going to have to continue to be different because we know how his track record is. And this is a guy that cannot disappear right now. Anthony Edwards needs his help for scoring because Anthony Edwards can't do this on his own. This isn't the injured Warriors, okay? Like they're going to need every point
No.
from Julius Randle to be able to win this series. So I'm gonna have to pick him. I think he's very important for this Timberwolves team if they want to have a chance. So yeah, that's my pick for them. And the Thunder, I'm gonna also go with their number 2 option, and that's Jalen Williams. Look, this guy had a great regular season, All-Star. He made the All-Star game. Fantastic player, but in these playoffs, he hasn't been that good. Especially in this Nuggets series, he
Yeah.
struggled a lot in that series. So I expect him to turn it around and really help Shea out and help the other guys out a lot and be able to get back to that high scoring threat that he was in the regular season because he has been struggling. But I think without Aaron Gordon guarding him now, who's probably one of the best defenders in the league, I think that he'll be able to have a lot more success. Like I said, I really just think that this team has been battle tested by that Nuggets team. So I expect a lot of the guys who are struggling to kind of step up and do better this series. So yeah, I'm going to go with Jalen Williams for the Thunder.
Nice.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how that game plays out tonight. Obviously, you guys will know how it went because we're going to upload this on Wednesday. But yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to the conference finals. This playoffs have been flying, it feels like, but here we
Oh
are.
yeah. I know.
So we'll see how they play out. And with that being said, we're going to slide over to the last thing, and that's going to be the MLB. We're just going to real quick go over our player of the week and team of the week. So I'll let you go ahead and start with your player of the week.
Yeah, my player of the week is none other than the new Met killer, Cody Bellinger. 7 for
Mm.
11 this series, 2 home runs and 7 ribbies. Every time he came out to bat, no, I don't think a lot of people expected much, and then he'd just go and hit a freaking grand slam. So yeah, I think he's just been amazing. He's got hits when you need to, and I think he's really been on fire this season, and I'm glad to see it because he started off pretty rough. And for him to kind of come back and be that Cody Bellinger we all know, it's been amazing.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. Obviously, I'm a big Cody Bellinger guy for the seasons that he put together with the Cubs. I was sad to see him go, but I understood why he went, obviously.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm happy to see him being successful again. I know he's been on a hot streak for about almost a month now, so that's good to
Yeah.
see. Hopefully, he can keep it up. And yeah, great series against the Mets, and that grand slam was sick to see. Um, my player of the week, I'm going with someone that was getting a lot of slack at the beginning of the season for obvious reasons, but he's been heating it up a lot lately, and that's Rafael Devers. Obviously, he started out
Yeah.
the season with that terrible stretch. I think he went like 0 for 25 or something crazy like that.
Something
Um,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, but in his last 10 games, he's batting over 400. He has a 405 batting average with 15 hits, 3 home runs, and has, I think it's 9 RBIs. So he's been off to, or not off, but he's been heating up a lot as of late. And that's someone that's been in the headlines a lot this season. Obviously, him making remarks about not wanting to play first base and him being mad that he has to be a DH and not a third baseman. But he's starting to put it together now, and it'll be interesting to see how that helps the Red Sox because outside of the Red Sox and Yankees, the AL East is kind of struggling. It's not really that competitive of a division, it looks like, especially with how bad the Orioles have been, which has been a big shock. But yeah,
Hmm.
we'll see if they'll be able to catch up on the Yankees at all. And we'll just see. That's my player of the week, Rafael Devers.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go with our teams of the week. I'll let you go ahead with that.
Yeah, my team of the week. It's I don't expect anything else from them this season, but it was great to see. I'm going with the LA Angels. Swept their rivals with the Dodgers. They're 6-4 in the last 10, but it's great to see them deal with the Dodgers the way they did. And I don't think that it was talked about enough on any platform really, because everyone's all high on the Dodgers, and if they do bad, they want to keep it under the rug. So yeah, it was just great to see them, get the wins that they needed to, and yeah, just shout out to the Angels.
Yeah, that's a good series win for them on rivalry weekend, going against
Hmm.
the Dodgers. That's great for that fan base to watch them sweep the Dodgers. So I like that pick. Those fans deserve something to make them happy because they
Yep,
don't have a whole lot going on right now. That's good.
not
Um,
at all.
for my team of the week, I basically went with like the same kind of thought process. It's a team that started out very slow and is starting to heat up now, and that's the Minnesota Twins. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Um, Byron Buxton has been fantastic for them. Their pitching
Yeah,
has been amazing. Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, Johan Duran, those guys have been fantastic. Playing some really high level baseball. Correa has been heating up. Yeah, 9-1 in their last 10. That deserves a shout out from me for team of the week. They're now second place in the AL Central. Obviously, the Tigers are in first, but that's a very stacked division right now. So it's going to be interesting
yeah.
how that plays out. So, yeah, that's my team of the week, the Minnesota Twins.
Nice.
All
Sweet.
right. Well, we had a lot to talk about for basketball mainly. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode for GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on all things sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason. Sign off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you guys.